Hello, I'm a Spanish native who has been learning English for more than 3 years, Japanese for 14 months, and I'm a coleccionista. These two hobbies are why I want to introduce discipline to language learning. In this distracted world, every day is more difficult to be disciplined, and for us, people learning languages is not really an exception. So I'll give you some tips and mindsets that have helped me to improve and stay disciplined. If you could start thinking of discipline as doing less things instead of more, I think that your life will actually get way easier as it is mine. So I would like to ask you this question. What do you think of someone who, for example, studies 3 languages every day? You probably will think that they are actually really disciplined. And they are, probably more than you. But when you go to the total opposite and you see someone else is doing just one language for the same amount of hours as the person is doing 3 languages, let's say 8 hours, who do you think is actually more disciplined? The person changing between 3 tasks in 8 hours, or the person who just does one thing? I think that the answer is actually kind of clear. Also, who do you think usually, not in all cases, gets better results? Normally the person just doing one thing, right? You could say as well that the individual learning 3 languages will not get that great at one in specific, but he's learning 2 languages more than the other person, which has some value as well, and it's a valid point. But it's not only about the mental capacity that they have during those 8 hours, which is probably the same, but the difference comes in the other 8 hours of the day at which they are resting. The persons studying 3 languages have their thoughts spread all over the mind. Should I study another 20 minutes of French? Let's read a bit of German as a break? Nah, let's just study 1 hour of Chinese more. And even if they don't want to be like this, it's inevitable when you have more than 1 or 2 things in your life. So they lose a lot of time and mental bandwidth just thinking about what they should do in the rest time. While the person studying 1 language has no stress, just one thought in mind: learning 1 language. Same concept applies to everything you do. If you learn languages while also having thoughts about TikTok, that's less mental bandwidth. If you spend too much time dating, you will also have a lot of thoughts about the girls or guys you were dating with, and it will be a distraction from learning a language or whatever thing you do in your life. So the less you do, the more mental bandwidth you will have to just focus on one thing. I would like you to think of discipline as something that is actually fun. I like to think in this way because the days I put more effort and I feel like my life is really going forward is the days I look back happily. This could be a gross example, but you never look back happily the days you masturbated like 5 to 10 times like a goblin. You don't look back the days you had like 10 hours of unproductive screen time. Maybe there's people who feel happily watching TikTok for 8 hours, but in that case, that person probably wouldn't be watching this video. That being so, I want to tell you something you can do right now that will improve your productivity by at least a 10%. Turn on your phone, go to applications, and uninstall TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and wherever social media, maybe not YouTube if you use it for immersion, and stop watching this video if you haven't done at least 2 hours of immersion. If you don't do this, you will spend 3 times more the amount of time learning whatever language. At last, this can help you if you feel like burning out, and it is that reading, doing listening, or whatever task associated to language learning shouldn't take you discipline out of those 2 to 5 hours you are doing it. It should take you discipline just when you are starting. Usually after spending the first 5 to 10 minutes, it becomes easier, and the most difficult part of almost everything is starting, so always have that in mind. If immersion doesn't become fun or at least entertaining to some extent, you are using too much discipline, and I actually don't do that because it's not maintainable. So right now, if it takes me more than 20 to 30 minutes to start being enjoyable, I can stand it. If not, I just switch it and go to more easier or enjoyable content. That's it for the video. Be sure to give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to have more discipline language learning friends. Thank you very much.